So my mom was diagnosed when she was 68. We started seeing signs a couple years before, but they were real faint signs, and you never think, you kind of write it off to just, oh, my mom's getting older, or, you know, your parents do quirky things. But then it became more consistent. It finally got to the point where my mom called me one day and asked how to get home.
You know, to hear the frustration of my dad's voice, not knowing what was going on with this woman that he'd been married to for almost 50 years, was just as heartbreaking as realizing my mom was starting to suffer from dementia.
One of the first signs I noticed with my grandpa is just loss of memory, and he kind of goes back and forth of being very happy and laughing for no reason to just looking very sad and depressed and having no energy.
Well, before my mom lost the ability to speak, I think one of the most telling encounters that we had was she asked me how long I was in town for, and I live a mile away from her care facility.
In my father-in-law's case, he was convinced that he had been fired from a job that he wasn't fired from.
She was amazing at knowing that something was wrong, but really covering, and my mom kept taking her to doctor's appointments and saying, you know, something was wrong, she's not remembering things, and she was able to like trick doctors, and if you'd ask her what the date was, you could see her like looking for a calendar on his desk to like get around it, because I think she was probably embarrassed, and she was a really good actress. Maybe that's hopefully where I get it from.
I remember very clearly my grandmother had it, and she would talk about chickens in the yard. There were no chickens in the yard. She was thinking of Cuba. The next thing that happened, she started using tons of salt on everything, and we would have to hide the salt, and she would find the salt. We don't know how, and you'd have to eat the food, and it was full of salt, and you'd all look at each other, and it's like, oh my God, it's awful, because there was so much salt, but no one wanted to hurt her feelings. So we kept hiding the salt, and she kept finding the salt. So anyway, these are the things that are kind of, but that's what happened.
The best thing I would suggest is to talk to people, to go on the Alzheimer's website, to learn more about the disease, to read up on it, and to accept the fact that your family member, your friend, your loved one is changing.
You know, I think it can be overwhelming having this happen to a loved one and feeling powerless to do anything about it. And I think we all want to be part of a larger movement to eradicate this disease. So just take small steps towards that.
This disease can last for a really long time, and so it can chip away at you slowly, and I think it's very important that if you are a caretaker, that you take care of yourself as well, and seek a support system of friends and family and information you can get online, www.alz.org. You can get a lot of information there, and really make sure you're taking care of yourself, because it's not easy on you either.
You just never know when something like this is going to affect someone close to you or even yourself, and that's enough of a reason to become involved.
You never think it's going to land on your doorstep until it does. You think it happens to those people, it happens over there, and then it lands right in your lap. The warning signs to me are the most crucial, and paying attention to those, and you can find all that information on alz.org.